I hate to tell you, but most likely you're wasting a lot of time by not efficiently working on your Mac. I know. This is why I created this video. It should help you with a lot of tips and time savers on your Mac to navigate your daily workflow. One quick note, I don't get monetized by YouTube, so any contribution is very appreciated. Whatever you can currently afford, it helps me make more content like this. Thank you so much. You might notice something different on my desktop compared to yours. I have the dock right here on the left side instead of on the bottom as most of you might have. The reason for this is I do not want to waste too much desktop real estate on the bottom. I have more over the width, so that's why I have it right here on the left hand side. How do you change this? You just hover over one of these lines right here, you right click and then you say position on screen, bottom. There you have it on the bottom. That's how you most likely have it. If I want to have it on the left hand side, just hover over one of the lines, right click, position on screen, left, and there we go. Keyboard shortcuts are extremely useful, especially when you want to keep your hands on your keyboard and you don't want to switch between the mouse and the keyboard all the time. They're available in most apps and of course especially in macOS and on the Finder. Let's start with a few keyboard shortcuts right here on the desktop and in the Finder windows. Keyboard shortcuts usually are a combination of the Command key and then one or more additional keys. So the first one I want to show you, that is Command N, N for new, and that's exactly what it's doing. It's opening a new window. I can do this a second time, Command N, then we have a second window. Another command that's doing the opposite is Command W, that is to close a window. Maybe you have worked with tabs in Windows. Tabs open with the Command T for tab. Let's do that. There's another tab. Tabs actually just split a window into several sub-windows where you can go back and forth and you can have different contents in them. Let's go into this folder right here. So we have those two tabs right here. Now if you want to close the tab, you also use Command W again. That closes the tab, and then when there's no more tab left, Command W will just close the window. You might ask, why do we even use those tabs instead of just opening several windows? Well, it is just a matter of not wasting too much space on your desktop. If you add another tab, you just don't have so many windows open. So maybe if you already have some other windows open, it kind of declutters your desktop some and you have several tabs right here. Let me show you something with those tabs. I'm going to go into desktop temp. That's that folder you see right here on the right hand side. We'll turn it back onto icon view, and then we have that folder that we had before. Of course you can also drag some elements right over into another tab. Let's do that. Let's grab this right here. I'm gonna grab it and there we go. It just snapped over into this other folder. This is called spring-loaded folders. That's a typical Mac function. Whenever you hover over another folder, it will automatically switch over to that and open it. So I can just let the mouse go, and here we have just moved this file over into this folder right here. I can do the same with just a regular folder. If I grab this right here and I move over to this folder, spring-loaded, it opens, I let go, bam, and we got it right in here. Let's continue with some keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to open another window right here. I'm going to use Command N again right here, and we'll go in here that we see all what's in that window. I'm going to open another one that's just this folder here on the desktop. So we have those two. A very prominent command is just to copy. I'm going to select two files right here, and I'll do Command C for copy. Go in the other window, I'll do Command V for paste. There we go, and it's pasted. Now if I don't want to copy, but if I want to move I can do it similarly. I'll just select these two files, for instance. I'll do Command C for copy, and now I'll add the Option key to that whole thing. So I'm going to go over here and I'll do Command Option V. That is going to move. As you can see, they're no longer over in this window. They have been moved over to that window. That brings us to another nice shortcut, and that would be Command Z. That is undo. So Command Z, let's try. Yep, they're back there. They have been moved back. We can see if Command Z also works for that copy process that we did before. Yes, it does. So Command Z is undo. If we add another key again, instead of Option, we can also add Shift. That usually reverts a function. So if I do Command Shift Z, we'll have the redo function. So we can just go back right there. We have that copy process. So we can go back and forth with those two. Command Z, undo. Command Shift Z, redo. There we go. I'm gonna go again with undo, and here we are. So that's pretty handy. A lot of times it's the Option key that will just add options, hence the name Option, and the Shift key will revert a function. So with the Option key, remember we switched over from copying to moving files. All right, now if you decide to use your mouse for these processes, of course you can also go right here, right click as you might have done, and here you find the copy command. Let's do that. Let's go over here again, right click. Now we have the paste command. But also here the Option key will add some functions. Let's press it. There we go. And now we can move files. That's probably something you have not seen before. Yes, you can do that. Let's try it. Okay, we moved the files. Let's go again with undo, Command Z, and there you go. So the Option command works also with a lot of things that you do with your mouse, and that's very interesting. Let's go again over a file right here. There we go, and we'll press the Option key right here, and you can see how different things change. So Option always does that. It always changes. It gives you more options for some functions. Here's something you might have noticed from time to time. When you drag and drop with your mouse, sometimes it copies, sometimes it moves. So what's up with that? The explanation is very simple. It depends if you drag within your same hard drive or if you drag onto a different hard drive. Many of you might have some additional volumes on external hard drives, for instance. They can also be volumes on a server, or they can be volumes on just another local hard drive on your Mac. So whenever you drag something from, for instance, your internal hard drive over to your external hard drive, the standard command will be copy, and it also shows with that little green plus that you see. I'm going to quickly demonstrate that. Let's close this tab right here. Oops, I could have used the keyboard shortcut. I clicked on it. That works just as well. And I'm going to open another window, again, Command N. Then let's dive into a different folder. Now this is on a different hard drive right here. That's just a different hard drive. Gonna select this, and then in here we'll just dive into another folder. That will be this one right here. And now I am going to grab me two files and I will drag them over. So there we have that plus sign, and that indicates that we will be copying over to that. So there we are. The files are here on both folders. I'm gonna open a third window. Now this one is on the same hard drive as this folder right here, the Mac Timesavers folder. So when I take these two files right here, you'll see there is no plus. So that indicates it's going to move. So we are on the same hard drive. It's going to move. Okay, let's undo that. Let's undo the first one too. Can you revert that? Yes, you can. Let's grab those files again. We'll put them over here. So that will be the standard. It moves. Now if I hold the Option key right here, then we get the plus, and we would copy in that case. So dragging onto the same hard drive and with Option, that will copy. Let's do the same process right here. We grab these files. We'll pull them over here where we generally have the copy command, because it's on a different hard drive. Now we press the Command key, and that will turn it over to just move. Letting go. It says if I want to remove that from my iCloud drive, that's just because the folder we are in right here is on the iCloud, and it will ask for that all the time. I just say move, and it will move the files over here. Let's revert that again, Command Z and Command Z again, and we're back where we were. So remember, when you are on the same hard drive, it will generally be a move process, and you will press Option and you can turn it into a copy process. If you drag onto a different hard drive, it will be a copy process, and you can press Command and you will have a move process. Okay, so how can you actually learn and memorize all these shortcuts? That's actually not very hard. First of all, you can find the keyboard shortcuts behind any menu entry right there. So right there, that's always on the right hand side. I mean, you've probably stared at those 100 million times. You can just look up what kind of command you need, maybe write them down, make yourself a cheat sheet, put it right next to the computer, and that way you can just add on whatever you want to learn as a keyboard shortcut. Again, Option, can you see? It will add or change different entries here in those menus. So always try using the Option key if you want to learn something. Press the Option key and you'll see way more functions than you might have seen in the beginning. Another way to look up some keyboard shortcuts, let's close out of these, is just simply to use your browser. I have a few right here that I've already memorized. So if you just Google something, put in Google macOS keyboard shortcuts, and then something like this will come up. These are all the keyboard shortcuts for the macOS right here. And let's open another tab. Also in the browser, it works with Command T. That opens another tab. We'll have more shortcuts. For instance, if you use Microsoft Word, here are Microsoft's official keyboard shortcuts. And let's do another tab. And there we have, for instance, let's do this one, that are keyboard shortcuts in Adobe Photoshop. And these are all the official websites from the app manufacturers that will show you all the keyboard shortcuts that you can find. You just Google that, Photoshop keyboard shortcuts, and then you will get all the results for that. It's pretty easy, and you can always write down a few that you want to learn, put them on your cheat sheet, or print out that whole page. Then you have a lot to learn. With the tabs, it's the same again as we had it in the Finder. We'll just go right here, Command W, and it will close those tabs. And when you press Command W the last time, it will close the whole window. Now there's another interesting command. Let's again open the browser. We'll go into those shortcuts. Let's try some other ones. Yep, Zoom, for instance. Of course, lots of us are using Zoom currently. That also has a lot of keyboard shortcuts. You can find them right here, but I'm going to open some more tabs just for fun. Let's just click on other stuff. QuickTime Player shortcuts, one more, whatever we have. I just want to open a few more tabs. Now, if you do Command Option W, again, you add something with the Option key. What that's going to do is it will close all the tabs at once. So you don't have to press Command W several times to close tabs. Command Option W, bam, it closes all the tabs, and then you're just left with your last window. If you do just Command W again, that window is gone. Tabs can be very helpful. They help you keep your desktop tidy and organize many other apps. So not only can you click between tabs, you can also drag them around, drag them out of a window, and you will have a new window right here side by side. Let's organize these a little bit right here. You can actually drag tabs between windows. They will just switch over to a different window. You can drag it back right here. There we go. This window actually doesn't show us another tab. So what do we do if we have only one window open with no longer a tab in it? That's actually an option that you can turn on right here. It's called Show Tab Bar. When you have this, then you will always see a tab right above the window. So now I can drag it over right here, and if I drag one out, I'll have a single window, but it still will show me that tab. Let's drag it back, and here we have everything together. This actually also works in a browser. Let's open a browser window. Let's open another tab. And here you can just pull tabs out of the browser, and then you have two separate windows. Let's close. One last feature that's actually pretty cool, if you ended up with a window where you have a ton of tabs open and you start getting a little bit confused, just go into the window view menu, say show all tabs, and we'll show you an overview. You can actually click into the tab that you want to see. There you go. The shortcut, you can look it up right here. It is Shift Command \. Let's try this. Shift Command \. And here we have the overview. You can actually even open a new tab from right here. There we go. This one's a real time saver. QuickLook. If you work in the icon view, as I do right here, that you have all these icons and you can see already pretty well what's in the files. And don't forget, you can also zoom in and zoom out right there with that little slider right here. You can make them actually pretty big and already see quite a lot. However, if you just select a file and then you press the space button, then you get QuickLook and it gives you a really huge preview and you can see exactly what's in those files. You can go even further if you have a PDF and you click on it, it will open it, and then you can even see all the pages in PDF. So there you go. This is every single page in that PDF. You can just see that in QuickLook. You don't have to open any program or anything. You got it right there at your fingertips. Okay, let's press space again and we close that. If you are in a different mode, for instance in the column mode, then you also have a little preview right there where you can already scroll through the pages. However, again, pressing the spacebar will make it way bigger and you can see a lot in there. Now imagine this scenario. You are in a program. Right here I'm in text editor already. You are done with working and you want to save your new document. You have a command for this as well. Command S in that case will just save it and it goes into whatever folder. I don't know where you might have been before. It just goes somewhere, maybe not into the folder where you really want to save it. In case you have that folder already open on your desktop, there's a very easy way how you can do this. You can just grab the folder up here, this little icon up there. You can just take it and drag it right in here. And this will switch over to the folder that you have just dragged on top of that. This box here is called the File Selector box. That's where you open and where you save files into when you have an app open. And you can always change the location in that File Selector box for opening and closing just by dragging a different folder in here. It can be this little icon if you're right here. It could just also be a folder that you grab from somewhere else. Just drag it in here and right there we would save right into this folder right here. So that's very easy. You don't have to always climb through a lot of folders while you're in a file selector box right here. You just drag in the folder that you need and you'll save right into that. Let's give it a name. There we go. And we'll save. And voila, there's our document. It went right into that folder. So now I have closed out of that document. I'm going to close this window too. What if it happened? You forgot where you saved the document. What can you do about it? There's actually several things you can do. The first thing that you can always try, many apps actually provide you with a recent file list when you just right click on the icon right here. There we go. There we have all the files I've been working with before. And here is my hello. There we go. Let's try it. Yep, that's the document. There's another thing that pretty much every app provides you, and that is right here in the file menu, a open recent. Now with this you can also just access the last few files that you have worked with. That's especially handy if your apps do not have the option for recent files right in here. Some apps do not do that. Another scenario, you don't even remember how you named your document. How can you find it? That happens a lot to me. In this case, I would use Spotlight. That's that magnifying glass right there in the right hand corner. If you click on it. Here is Spotlight Search. Maybe you're already using it for finding files. We can try. Let's type in hello, and there we have our file right there. Spotlight not only finds files that have that phrase in their file name, it also finds files that have that somewhere inside. So that's pretty handy. If you need to find an expression that's inside a file, Spotlight can still help you right there. Let's look for something else. I'm gonna type in affinity. These were some of those PDFs we had in our folder before, you might remember. These were some PDFs we had in another folder. However, there's way more stuff called affinity, and Spotlight will find all of that. If I want to restrict my search, I can always restrict by file type. I will just type in kind, colon, and then I can say PDF. And now we only have PDFs that have affinity either in their file name or somewhere inside. It could also be a folder. Let's try that. Now we have only folders that have affinity in their name. So that's pretty handy. You can restrict Spotlight searches pretty easy with the command kind, colon, and then type behind what you want. Could also be JPEG or Photoshop, whatever it is. Spotlight can actually do way more. Have you ever tried to, for instance, do some calculations? There you go. Or you can type in some currencies. Now look at that. And it even shows other currencies down there. Weather. There we have it. You can even search in natural language. There we go. Photos I took in March. Or how about this? Sports results. So as you can see, Spotlight can be very helpful. It can help you find files within your computer, but it can help you with so much more, and you don't even have to open a browser window. You can type in a lot of things that you are looking for, and it will find it for you. Some folders you're working on might be deep down in your system, so you have to click and dig and try to find them. Go right there, and you go right there, and you go right there, and so on. Isn't that annoying? Well, there's a way around that. What you can do is you can always pull a folder into your sidebar. Right here, this is the sidebar. It's probably already populated with a few of these shortcuts, and you can always add whatever you want to that. Let's go up one stage. That was the folder we were working in right here, and I'll just pull it over here, and there we go. Now if I click on this, we're right in that folder again. Let's open a new window. There we are. Click on that, and here we go. And I already had another shortcut to the other folder that I've been showing you right here. So that's quick and easy. You can put several folders on the sidebar and always access them directly. That's so much easier than just digging through the system the whole time. If you no longer work in a folder, you can always get rid of that. Either you right click on it and say remove from sidebar, or you just pull it outside of the window, then you get this X, let the mouse go, and gone it is. Another thing that can be pretty annoying is that a double click on a file doesn't open the app that you would like to see. macOS per default opens JPEGs with preview, and it opens PDFs, Acrobat files with preview, and you might not even want that. Maybe you want to open your JPEGs with Photoshop, and maybe you want to open your PDFs with Acrobat. Well, you can change that. You can determine what app is going to be started when you double click on a certain file type. Let's try. Just right click on a file. This is a JPEG right here. Then go to Info. And here you have it, open with. Let's just change that. I want Photoshop right here. And this is the crucial step. You have to say change all, and from now on, when you confirm this dialog, Every JPEG will open in Photoshop. Let's do that for PDFs as well. Get info, and there we go, Acrobat, and change all, and done. So now when I click on a PDF, Photoshop will open. And when I double click on a PDF, Acrobat will open. If you work in column mode in the Finder, that's this kind of mode, I personally prefer that a lot, then you might see that it just sorts by alphabet. Folders are somewhere in between, and it just goes down all the way. I don't like this behavior, and if you have ever worked with Microsoft Windows, then you might remember that their folders are always on top of the list. Much nicer. But well, you can change this in macOS. Just go into Finder, Preferences, then you have to be in the Advanced tab, and right there you have the option Keep Folders on Top. Click it, and now you have it. Folders will always be on top, and you don't have to scroll down the whole list to find a folder. So much nicer. If you're in a document and you want to save it, Command S for instance, then your file selector box might look like this. It doesn't show you many options, and especially it doesn't show you what's all in the folder you are going to save into. Just click on that little arrow and you have a bigger file selector box, which also shows the sidebar right here. So we have all these options again, and it shows you what's in the folder that you're going to save into. If you don't like all that information, just click on that little arrow again and you're back to the reduced file selector box. You can always drag a photo into a document. If your photo, however, is in your photo library, then there's an easy way to access it right through a file selector box. You go to Attach Files, or sometimes it might be called Insert Photo, depending on your app. Then you have a file selector box and you just scroll down all the way to the bottom. And there is the option Photos. That will open your photo library right in that file selector box. Right here you are. You have all your albums right there that you can click into. Select the file and it will just place it right there in your document. Now this one was a huge photo, so we can only see a fragment of it. If you want to copy some text, let's for instance open a browser window right here. We have an article about Munich. There we go. We'll select some text. Let's maybe select that first paragraph. We'll use Command C to copy, and then we use Command V to paste it. And there you have it. However, you have all the formatting that came with it. Maybe you didn't even want that. Maybe you just wanted the plain text. You can do that. Let's do Command Z, undo, and now we paste, but we also press Option and Shift as well. So that's going to be Command Option Shift V. That will paste just the pure text. How nice is that? I've copied another paragraph and I want to show you how you can move your cursor way more efficiently in a document. Especially when you're typing, you don't really want to put your hand back to the mouse and then you go back to the keyboard, back and forth. That's inefficient. As long as you can stay on your keyboard, it's so much better, and that's where keyboard shortcuts, again, they totally rule the game. I've seen a lot of people frantically hammer on their arrow keys on the keyboard to move the cursor where they need it. You have a way more efficient way to do that. The cursor is still right here. Can you see it? That's where it is. If you press the Option key in addition, then you move in whole words. If you press the Command key, you'll go to the beginning of the line and to the end of the line. You can also do that with the up and down arrows. You can just go in single lines. You can press the Option key and it will go to the beginning of a paragraph when I'm going up, and it will go to the end of a paragraph when I press the down arrow while I hold the Option key. Command goes all the way to the beginning of the document. Can you see right here? And Command arrow down goes to the end of the document. Now if you press Shift while you press the arrow keys, then you will select. So Shift arrow to the left selects single letters. If I press Option in conjunction with that, then we'll select whole words. And of course you guessed it, Command, Shift and then an arrow, that will select whole line. Same with the up and down. You can also do this with the up and down arrows. So Shift and then up arrow will select single lines. Option Shift will select whole paragraphs. With the down key I'll just go back in my selection. And Command Shift will select all the way to the beginning of the document. If I click right here and deselect, and I will press Command Shift, arrow down, goes down all the way to the end of the document. So as you can see, this is way faster than if you have to go back and forth, grab the mouse or click 100 times on an arrow key. Just use those modifier keys and you have a way more efficient way to select and to move your cursor. What could be more important than to add emojis to a document? Yes, it's very easy to access those as well. You just press Control Command Spacebar and there you have a little window and it opens and shows you all the emojis. Let's click on one. Of course, a wine glass, love it. There you go. Let's try this again. And you might have never realized that there are these little arrows down there. If you click on those, you'll actually have more categories. So you have little icons, little symbols. Let's click back again. And here we are at the emojis. But wait, there's even more. Scroll all the way up and you'll find a search field. Yes, you can even search for emojis. Because sometimes it's so hard to find the emoji you want to use. Let's say for instance we want a US flag. Just type in USA and there we go. Got the flag. Let's do another one. Flag of Mexico. Phew, how'd you find that? Of course, just type it in. And there you have it. Or you can insert a taco. That's even better. Let's open this window again. There's another icon that you might have not noticed. Right there on the right. Click on it. And then you got the Mac Daddy window. This shows pretty much any special character, emojis, arrows, whatever you need. And you can insert that from right here. Like these letter-like symbols, copyright symbol. You can go to bullets and stars, arrows. Select an arrow right here. Just double click on it and it will be selected and inserted right there. So that is super cool. Also, if you want to insert mathematical symbols, you got them all right here. If you no longer need that big window, just click on the little icon right here and you're back to that one where you can just select some smaller icons and emojis. Maybe you need to type a word with a special character in it and you don't want to go through that dialog box that we've looked at before. There's a very elegant way to do this. Let's type something tasty. The French expression crème fraîche, it has those accents over the E and the I. How can we do this? I'll show you right here. Let's start typing. Now we have this E. What we're going to do is we'll hold the E character. And here we go. A selector box pops up and that lets us select any of those special characters on the E key. In our case, that would be the number 1. We could either click on it or we'll just type that number 1 and there we have it. Let's finish that. And here we have that I. Again, I'll just hold the I key. Here's the selector box again. And again, it's going to be the number 1 that we'll just have to type. And then we can finish that. That was very easy. I'm a German and I have to deal with a lot of special characters. They're called umlauts. You might have seen them. The A, the O, the U with those two dots over it. The O, for instance, is pronounced Ö. Let's type something with it. Here we go. To get this Ö, I'll have to press the number 2 key. And we have something really nice. So that's really easy to use those special characters. You don't even have to lift your hands off the keyboard. You don't have to reach for the mouse. And you can just stay and keep typing. macOS can actually make spelling recommendations while you type. So you can start typing a word that you might not know exactly how to spell it. Let's for instance pick biotechnology right here. Let's start typing. And now you want to see, how do I really spell it? Just press F5. And this will give you a box that shows you all the recommendations for words that started with the letters you have typed so far. So here we have it, biotechnology. Let's click on it, return, and then we have that word. So that is really handy. It helps you spell words exactly how they're supposed to be spelled. Do you need to look up a word? Well, there's a function for that, and it's called lookup. If you right-click on a word, you get lookup right here in the menu. If you click on that, then you get a box that shows you dictionaries, that might show you translations. It's really handy. It gives you all the information. Depending on how you have it configured, that's what it's going to show. Right here, all the way down, the cogwheel, click on that, and then you have a dialog where you can completely configure the lookup feature. You can open different dictionaries, different translations, whatever you want. Let's click out of that again. There's another way of doing that. You don't even have to right click. If you want to keep your hands on the keyboard, you just press Command Control D, and there you get all the definitions for that. There's even more to it. You have Wikipedia entries for a word. So let's click on that, and there we see the Wikipedia entry for the word we have just selected. This also works in the browser. Let's for instance click on a word right here. Occupation, let's do that, right click on it, and there you have lookup again. You just select the word, Command Control D, and there again you have all the definitions, the Wikipedia entry, and also whatever Siri will recommend for that. So that's a very cool feature if you read text with words that you might want to have some more explanation to it, or if you write something and you actually want to have the real definition for a word that you've been typing, use the lookup feature. Very handy. That wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like this video and leave a comment. And I'll see you next time when we'll talk about more time savers and ways to streamline your workflow on a Mac, Launchpad, Mission Control, and many things more. I have one more favor to ask from you. I don't get monetized by YouTube, so any contribution is very much appreciated. My Venmo is @ThomasGeist. Thank you so much.